And up next, we got another explosive matchup with Matthew Semelsberger taking on Eros Medic. And Semelsberger, he's been up and down since joining the UFC, but at least in my eyes, I would say he's exceeded expectations. He came into the UFC with really minimal amount of fights. I believe he's had 8 fights in the UFC, and he only has 16 fights total. So half his career has been spent in the UFC already, and he's had 2 sub 20-second knockouts. All of his fights in the UFC, even the fights that have went to decision, have been bangers, and most of his wins, granted, have been against bottom of the barrel fighters in the weight class, but he does have one solid win over Jake Matthews, and his losses have came against pretty high level competition. They've also been competitive fights. He had a close fight with Chaos Williams. He had a competitive fight in his last one where could have went either way against Jeremiah Wells. But style-wise, Semelsberger, he's an athletic guy. He's a beast, super powerful, explosive, and he's one of the heaviest hitters in the welterweight division. He's a bit slow with his feet. He can be a little plotty, but he can explode in, and he has a piston of a right hand. Does a good job feigning the lead hand and then backing guys up, then bringing that big power cross or overhand to close the show. And when he connects, he does damage. I mean, the guy has a crazy knockdown rate. He'll mix in leg kicks. He'll occasionally look for the check hooks, but volume and kind of an array of strikes is not Semelsberger's thing. He can be inactive, but when he connects, he makes it count. And he hurt Jeremiah Wells with almost every punch he threw in his last fight, but just couldn't land that shot to actually finish him off. He's also super durable, so he's someone that if you brawl with him, it's probably not going to be a good night. And wrestling has not been his strong suit, though. He's had issues with fighters taking him down, holding him down. That's how he lost his last fight to Jeremiah Wells. And offensive wrestling, Semelsberger did show that against Jake Matthews. He had a few single legs, but I think a lot of that had to do with Matthews already taking a lot of damage on the feet. And in this fight, I don't really see either fighter really using wrestling as their primary game plan, but I would argue that Semelsberger is probably the better wrestler, the bigger, stronger guy. Obviously, Medic just coming up in weight here. And if Semelsberger is really struggling with the striking, I wouldn't be shocked if he went to get the takedown and actually did get a takedown or two. But cardio-wise, Semelsberger has good cardio, and he should have the edge there, I would say. And he's been forged with the fire. He's been in 15-minute wars. Medic has never been out of the second round. And Semelsberger is also used to fighting with that extra 15 pounds, which we don't know how Medic would deal with that. Semelsberger has never lost 2 fights in a row. He's coming in here off that close loss, so he's going to be looking to keep that fact intact on Saturday night. But Eros Medic, he's making his return after a year away from competition. The last time we saw him was May 21st, 2022, and it was a good night for him. He knocked out Omar Morales in the first round as an underdog. He was linked to a fight against Mike Davis in October of last year, but was forced to withdraw, and we haven't heard much from him since then. He was fighting at 155. If you look at his career before coming to the UFC, he had fought at 185, 170, and he's moving back up to 70 for this fight. On top of the layoff, that does give me another kind of question mark about him, but he trains out of King's MMA, and he's been very entertaining when he stepped in the cage thus far. He's 6'1", he's a southpaw, very fast, explosive, and he throws a lot of different techniques. Very loose, flowy striker. He has great feints, real nice jab, 1-2, really good left cross, and he likes to throw the right hook before or after that left cross lands, try to finish guys off or stun them with that shot. He has good left straight to low kick combinations, and he's pretty fluid with his hands when he can back guys up. He can throw combos. A lot of the times at range, you only throw kind of 1 or 2 at a time, though, and usually waits to let his hands go when he can back guys to the cage. But his kicks to me are better than his punches. Throws a lot of nice front kicks, round kicks. He has dangerous spinning attacks, and he has a way of overwhelming kind of lower level opponents, and he can make them look for a way out quickly. He has 5 knockouts. Defensively, he does hold his hands low. He's hittable, and he did get hurt with body shots against Jalen Turner. It seems like he doesn't like to get pressured too much, and he's dynamic and definitely has the chance to get the finish in this one on the feet. Both guys do. Medic's grappling is going to be what most opponents are going to try to exploit. In certain fights and performances, you definitely have to question his grappling. he, in Alaska FC, like I said, was fighting at higher weight classes, 170, 185. But, obviously, now going back up to 170, I've seen him get taken down and held down by guys with really bad records. And he's thrown up some triangles and leg attacks, things like that. It seems like he has pretty fast setups off his back, but I do think guys that are good wrestlers can hold him down, take him down. In this fight, I don't really see that as much of an issue for either guy. I don't think Semelsberger is going to really look to do that. But Medic cardio-wise, that's another thing where you don't really know. He hasn't had long fights, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a violence fight. I'm going to go with Semelsberger by first round knockout. I think he can find that chin. And Medic, I just don't think he's going to be able to take the power. If he's given issues to Semelsberger on the feet, I think Semelsberger can also probably at least push him against the cage, get him tired, and then even it up or even get him to the ground. And he just has more experience in longer fights against better fighters. I don't know how Medic will look after his layoff, if moving back to 170 is going to be a good decision for him. So I'm pretty confident Semelsberger is going to get the win in this one, and I'm going to predict he does it in the first round.